Woodley Saturday. Guys,
in real life,
we are in
Look,
real life
speaking of-
with Dr. Katie Woodley. Right meow.
Poor little
How
head's gonna pop
exciting is this? Now, just so you guys know, Dr. Woodley has a little bit of a laryngitis issue.
Do you think it's a
happening.
laryngitis,
She's
for sure?
absolutely she's absolutely.
Listen
I
to-
mean, fine. Like, she is just as fine, beautiful, and wonderful in real life as she is on camera. And so, for all of you guys, I know so many of you were wondering. We like her. We're gonna keep her.
We're gonna keep her forever.
We're also
but
keeping Ryan.
listen, for anyone joining us that does not know the beautiful, amazing Dr. Katie Woodley, could you go ahead and do a little intro?
Do you need to whisper it?
So I do have a bit of laryngitis. This is not my normal voice. But for everyone here, welcome. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor. You know, when this happens, you never know, right? So we just roll with it and we do what we can and we support all the things. But I'm a holistic integrative veterinarian based in Northern Colorado, and I'm on a mission to make sure that amazing pet parents like yourselves have the tools and support to help your pets live their best lives. So thank you for dealing with me. We'll see if the voice is even here at the end.
No, here's the thing. If it doesn't work out, this is what we decided. Like, if she loses her voice, then she can whisper to us, even though it's not recommended that you whisper.
It's not.
It's not recommended. But it might
that.
have to be a whole thing that we do tonight,
Yeah.
because this is just the beginning, right?
We're
We're drinking.
rating
We just
things.
poured our wine. We're gonna have some wine.
Marilyn said, that's a lot of a
And
bit
then-
of
and then-
laryngitis.
This we've got
And
orange juice.
Orange juice.
Can we have a toast
lime.
though to start this off?
Yes.
For your stamina in still taking this trip, making
Yes.
this trip, and spending this time with us. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And for everyone here joining us on a Happy Catter Day. Happy Catter Day, you
Happy
guys.
Catter Day. So today, guys, we're going to talk all things cat food, and this is a very important subject, right? Because it's our most fun, or actually just our most popular subject, right? Like, the question that we get probably more than any other question, I'm sure you get it too, is
Food.
what should I feed my cat? This is what I'm feeding. Is this good? And do people send you ingredient lists all the time?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, us too. So it's a common question, right? So today we're meeting with an expert, right? The veterinarian, the legendary Dr. Katie Woodley, and we're going to talk about all things cat food. Now, just
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
the
and
good,
look,
the bad, and the ugly.
Jay went to
I
a
actually
local
went shopping for you guys.
big box. Yeah.
Yes, so we have all kinds of different brands of cat food here, and we've got
We're
both
gonna go
wet
through 'em.
and dry foods, right? Anything that you can buy at the store, so that we can kind of question Dr. Woodley and say, hey, what do you think about these ingredients, and what do you guys and if you guys have questions, go ahead and start dropping them. What wine is in the glass this evening? So Dr. Woodley and I are drinking a fine rosé, Francais rosé. This evening, and Adrienne has decided that she wants to do a wine and whiskey Wednesday with Woodley. Oh, there's no Wednesday today. Wine and whiskey Woodley.
Whoa,
Catterday.
Reserve Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do the
Woodley
rosé.
whiskey, Woodley wine. It's all
Woodley,
the same.
oh, that's true. I
Yeah.
just hope I
And
don't
did
get
you know there's
whiskey
a Woodley
fatigue.
walk and a Woodley
Oh,
wobble?
yes.
We'll teach you guys a little bit
Yeah.
about that eventually.
You guys, this is so exciting, and I feel like all of a sudden we looked up and it's 5 minutes to go live, which is obviously why we're a little bit late. We had to figure out some stuff, but it's just been such an exciting time. But we have had the best time.
We have.
So
If
far,
you
I
can't see
wish
in our
that we
eyes,
could-
we haven't even slept since she got here last night. We have just
Really.
been partying it up.
Hey,
And at Whole
Fatima.
Foods.
Let's
At
start
Whole
with
Foods.
a good question, real quick. What is best for constipation? Slippery elm or inulin?
Inulin. So
Inulin.
inulin is a prebiotic. So it's actually in some of the foods behind us. And slippery elm is what we call a mucilage. So it's like marshmallow root, slippery elm. What happens is they're very soothing. I've been taking a lot of slippery elm actually in my tea. So don't worry, I am drinking a lot of tea.
Are you also pooping a lot?
No, just regular.
So
which is great. So
Just the regular.
So it
foods.
only slippery elm would only
So slippery elm you can actually use for both constipation
And
and
diarrhea.
diarrhea. So it's definitely worth trying. Every cat is different. So you might have to just try it and see how your cat responds. Inulin is a prebiotic. So that's going to support the microbiome and the gut health. And it's something we're doing potentially, but I would focus on what foods are we feeding? Do we need to optimize diet? What else can we do to help support the microbiome? That's where I would go first. Obviously, like constipation is a symptom of an imbalance, and a lot of times it comes down to the diet that we're using. So I'd start there, looking at how can we better improve the diet. Yes, we can try slippery elm in the meantime while we're doing that to help with those symptoms.
Oh my God.
I love
your brain.
I love it. Like, she hasn't gotten this like deep yet, as far as like we've just been talking
We've
real
been
life
just having
stuff.
fun.
Like we haven't like had the moment, and now like our arms are around her,
We're like,
and she's
tell us
talking
more.
all like sexy, smart. I love this.
The laryngitis is very hot. Wait, okay, before we dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the cat foods behind us here, and I'm so excited because even when Jay was bringing out the props, she was picking them up and had some choice words. But Paul Bear, this is a question. I know I saw you ask this earlier. I am curious about this too. I don't know if you know this. My cat has inflammatory bowel disease, so IBD. Would stem cell treatment cure him? A holistic vet told me he had leaky gut, but we can't access your FAB test due to border problem. Oh, that's so sad.
Okay. Yeah. So inflammatory bowel disease is essentially, so it's a symptom, right? Inflammation of the bowel. So we always have to go back to why did that happen? So if there's a trigger for why that body all of a sudden is now mounting an immune response against itself, we need to look for that. So making sure that we've ruled out parasites, making sure we've ruled out food sensitivities. Now, if you can't access some of the diagnostic tests that we have here, this is where you could do an elimination diet. What that means is looking at choosing a novel protein that your cat's never been exposed to, and maybe doing something like, say, rabbit and maybe butternut squash, just to help with the fiber content. Or, picking a brand if you can that has some limited ingredient diets, like Vital Essentials is a great one here in the States, using either rabbit or duck. And you want to feed that for 6 weeks. So what we're doing is we're limiting the amount of proteins that pet is being exposed to help rest the gut. And then you also want to be supporting the microbiome. So when we have leaky gut, what happens? I just see your face like you
are doing so hard.
I feel like I need to like hold the back of your neck. Like,
really get through this. I'm not even yelling. So I'm not even excited yet. But anyways.
You need to drink more wine.
Yeah, really. So with leaky gut, here's the thing. What happens is that gut lining is inflamed. So if we can look at, what is causing that inflammation? So elimination diet, seeing if there's a food sensitivity, but you can also there's a lot of great supplements out there. Adored Beast has a great leaky gut protocol that you can use. So using these products that are going to have, once again, slippery elm, marshmallow, they're going to have deglycerinized licorice that's very soothing for the GI tract, has some steroid-like properties, but doesn't come with all the side effects of using like prednisone or budesonide. We have to look at how do we heal, seal the gut, so that way food, bacteria, toxins aren't passing through into the circulatory system and causing an inflamed immune system. That's what's happening with IBD. So yes, stem cells is a treatment that you can potentially use. It's not available to a lot of people. It's not commonly used in the pet side, but it is used on the human side, and it can make a huge difference. But we also have to look for what are those triggers that are creating it in the first place, because if we don't remove that, we're going to be stuck in the same spot.
So what do you think about, and so Paul Bear is in Ireland, but what do you think about like microbiome restorative therapy or fecal transplants? And I don't know if that's available in Ireland or not.
It might not be, but 100% fecal transplants. So this topic is very near and dear to my heart. So for anyone new here, the reason I found holistic medicine and an integrative approach is because my husband was diagnosed with IBD back in 2014. He's in the other room. He's also here. He doesn't have laryngitis. But
he said yet.
No, he's good. Don't worry. He's good. So, but what I would be looking at is if you can access fecal transplant 100%, because what you're doing is you're taking a healthy, ecosystem, so that healthy microbiome, and you're transplanting it into your pet. So you're replacing that, because usually the microbiome's off. We have an overgrowth of pathogenic bacteria, and we need to get like essentially the good immune system back in, because 70% of the immune system lives in the gut. So that would 100% be an option if you can access that to help. If you can't, we still have to go through those principles of like making sure we're removing inflammatory things. We're replacing, diet, nutrition, digestive enzymes. We're supporting gut health. We're supporting the microbiome. We're also repairing the gut lining. So using aloe, deglycerized licorice, using slippery elm to help soothe and calm down that inflammation. Turmeric is another really good natural anti-inflammatory. And then looking at re-inoculating. So this is where using broad spectrum probiotics. Saccharomyces boulardii is really helpful too.
That was Saccharomyces boulardii.
Thank you. That's a beneficial yeast, by the way.
Beneficial yeast.
So,
I think does anyone have
can you
any
guys
issue
hear
hearing?
Dr. Katie? Can you guys actually
think
hear
they-
her?
I think they can.
I
mean,
think
we have
you
some
can,
major
too.
questions coming in. hard
Wow. We're not even going to get to cat
fast.
food, right?
Well,
what
I
would
mean,
you
this
say in
is
terms of,
about
like,
cat food, though.
yeah. So
Like no kibble if you've got IBD?
yeah. So here's the thing. A lot of times these diseases, once we get to being able to name a disease, we're at the end of this process. So your pets are on this path, right? We're on this spectrum of disease where we have health, we have disease, and we're all constantly moving along this. Unfortunately, the pet food industry is moving our pets, the majority of pet food, let me reword that, is moving our pets towards inflammation and disease. So that's a huge problem. And the reason why I say that is because they're using inappropriate diets for an obligate carnivore. Our cats have zero requirements for carbs. They're using poor quality ingredients. A lot of these diets also have inflammatory ingredients, things like carrageenan. They have flavorings, they have food colorings, and they also come with a lot of pesticides or glyphosate in them. What that directly is doing is causing inflammation. It's affecting the microbiome, and it's increasing inflammation and like creating these diseases that we're now seeing. That comes down to the food. That is the first principle that I follow when I'm treating patients, is the removal phase. So this is why diet is instrumental. It is a foundation of health. And if we don't heal that or fix that, we're going to be stuck on this cycle of disease, and it's going to be really hard to get off of.
I'm going to, 2 questions real quick, because I think this is such a common question. And we've got one from Carrie and one from Angie, basically saying my cat's on rural canine urinary, SO, canned and dry food. Thoughts, he does like it. And Angie said our vet has her boys on Hills urinary care, CD. They get a can and dry each day, so both wet food and dry food. Is there one back there?
Yep.
No. What do you think? One has had crystals in his urine, and the other just got over a UTI. So I get like urinary tract stuff is super scary, right?
Yep. It can be an emergency, 100%.
How should we deal with it?
Yeah.
Is this a good approach?
So they have so many, like this is a great question, because they have so many urinary foods, right? Like whether you have to get it from your vet or whether you can buy it in the store. And like this one that we got, you can buy in the store. If I don't know, I'm like, it's very small, but I read the ingredients. I can read if you need glasses.
My eyes still work.
Okay,
Just my
good.
throat.
Oh. She's pulling out the youth card over here.
Right?
While you're reading that, I'm going to go ahead and add Huff's question into the same thing. What can I do to help prevent my male Siamese cat from getting crystals in his urine?
So we have questions every day where it's like my cat has to be on this urinary diet or they will blow.
Your voice doesn't. Okay.
I had to do it. So here's the thing. Diet is why we see crystals. And 2, a lot of times these cats are on a dry food diet. Moisture is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And also 2, for feeding kibble, and we're increasing inflammation in the body. What's going to happen? Of course, this can lead to crystals, lead to inflammation in the bladder, can lead to urinary tract infections. It's affecting the microbiome in the bladder. And so if the problem with urinary foods, and I'm holding, this is not a prescription urinary food, but I look at things.
I couldn't get any vet to give
I
me
know,
permission.
and I wouldn't do that to them. So, but when I look at these ingredients, they're exactly the same as what's behind me.
Mhm.
So you're spending like 10 times the amount of money on a prescription food. That's the same as what you can buy over the counter. And all we need to do is we need to make sure we're optimizing the body. So if you're feeding a kibble diet, do your best to transition your cat over to a wet food. If you can, transition them over to a raw food diet. There's so many good pre-made brands out there now with balanced diets that you can feed, that you don't have to do. Like, I use these for my own cats, and that can help. So we have to look at, well, what's exactly in these foods? What is it doing? Is it even worth doing this? And unfortunately, veterinarians also, like, it literally, when I follow what we're supposed to be doing for our cats with a urinary problem, increase water, get them on a wet food diet is those are the first two things.
There are some of these urinary kibbles, right? Urinary tract prescription or veterinary recommended whatever kibbles that, is it true or false, right? That they actually increase the salt to make the cat more thirsty so that they drink more. Is that true?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's true.
Well, and also too, kibble does not have a max salt requirement.
And isn't that kind of sad, because that like also contributes to things, other issues like hyperthyroidism and
and just to Suzanne's point here, Suzanne Mason, great question. My kitty Pebbles and had blood in her urine, but the blood test came back out negative. Extra stress can be the problem. I think that's something too that when there's stress in the home, I know a lot of times diet is always going to be number one when it comes to really giving our cats overall good health, right? But stress is.
But these also a contributing factor.
So
right?
100% stress. This is why if we're only
nutritional
looking at
stress and environmental stress.
If you're only looking at one thing in your cat's life, you're going to miss why they're showing symptoms. And cats are so emotional. They're so attached to us. We're in a season of the holidays, which is a lot of stress for a lot of people. And so we have to look at the environment. We have to look at their emotional health. We know that stress directly causes like leaky gut. It causes inflammation. It does all sorts of things in the body. So if we're not addressing that, and all we're trying is a prescription diet, we're not going to fix it. Like, it's an unrealistic expectation.
Symptoms or trying to treat symptoms.
Dana.
Yes, we can hear her. Yay, yay.
Yay,
Everybody can
okay.
hear you. Good.
Oh my God, it's
I was like,
shocking.
we might have to scoot it closer and then
know,
we'll just be like this.
And whisper.
No, so this is a good question. Dana, I love you so much, and you're sweet, Jasper, but she's asking about her nephew's cat that deals with pancreatitis. He's feeding the vet recommended kibble for pancreatitis. And I have given him wet food treats with catalyst, which is our digestive enzymes with antioxidants. Any suggestions for a budget wet food for a very overweight cat with pancreatitis?
What about Authority's gut health?
And then
Actually, what do you know about the brand Authority? Is this PetSmart's brand? I believe it is.
I think it is. I don't even recommend it. So even though it's veterinary recommended here.
You're like, but I am the vet.
Not this veterinarian.
I do not recommend it.
No, I mean, looking at this, here's the thing. When I look at, and this is where looking at what brands, and of course I can understand and relate like that there can be a financial, worry with a lot of pet parents.
Pam Russell is here. I love you, Pam. She said she can hear Dr. Katie, but she has a major sexy voice thing going on.
Right? That is exactly what I
Hey.
said, Pam. I'm like, you know what?
Thank you,
Raspy
Pam.
is sexy.
You are
Keep on-
so
keep on
sweet.
going. We're
It's
going to
like a
make you
squeak.
talk for the whole life.
Squeaky wheel. So
And
squeaky wheel.
Marilyn said she can hear you, but I thought my computer was on the fritz. It's
on the
just Dr.
fritz.
Katie.
It's just my
That's
voice.
hilarious.
God. So what was the question? So pancreatitis, budget-friendly recommendations for wet food. So what I'd be looking for in the ingredient list when you're looking at your diets is we want to make sure that they're not adding in things like oats and grains. There's no carrageenan. Carrageenan It's like a thickener that's used in a lot of like poor quality cat foods. So if we are on a budget, some of these cat foods are going to have it in it. It's still unfortunately being used for making it thicker. And the problem is that it actually creates inflammation in the gut. When we are already having an inflamed pancreas, we do not want that anywhere near our cats. So reading the ingredient list. So when I read this ingredient list for this Authority Adult Gut Health, so when you're picking this up, unfortunately, most pet parents are going to see, oh, my cat has a gut health issue. Let me use this. So they're using marketing.
Vet recommended.
Yeah, and vet recommended.
Like you'd be an idiot not to buy this food.
Yeah, that's sarcasm. So
That is sarcasm.
if you heard that. So, that was my squeaky wheel. So when I read this ingredient list, I see like whitefish, fish broth, salmon, pumpkin, chicken liver, hydrolyzed pork plasma, fish oil, oatmeal, inulin, which we talked about right at the beginning.
Your eyes do
Can
work.
you read that okay?
No.
Okay.
But like your eyes do work very well.
It's that laser eye surgery.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Well, I
you
can-
just have to not.
Now I can still read close, but
Oh, okay.
now I can see far. So-
That's impressive.
but anyways,
Go ahead.
also, then we have guar gum, sunflower oil, yeast culture, and then we go powdered cellulose, and then we go into the synthetic vitamins and minerals. And the problem that I have with this, especially for worried about inflammation, is for one, the source of the fish is really poor quality. I think it was Dr. Jean that actually said, as like in her book, they're using trash fish.
Mhm.
It's a leftover fish.
Yep.
And unfortunately too, you know, what is being fed? This is not like wild caught salmon that's being used. So they're farm raised fish. They're going to be fed trash. Essentially, I have a nephew who works rubbish, complete rubbish. So I have actually,
Sorry, you have a nephew.
I have a nephew who lives in New Zealand that worked on a salmon farm, and he refused to eat salmon after working on that farm. So what do you think? Like, that's human quality. So when we think about the pet food quality ingredients, the meat going in, this is feed grade. It's not human grade. And so when I look at this, I worry about what other chemicals are going into our cats. And two, you know, there's oatmeal. Yes, inulin, it's a prebiotic. That's why they're calling this gut health, because prebiotics support the microbiome. It
None
supports
of the other ingredients are.
this is better than feeding a kibble diet by any means, 100%. So if you had to choose something, I would feed a canned food or wet food. But you want to make sure you're looking for carrageenan, you're looking for the oats, you're looking for wheat gluten. Let me just grab one of these.
Yeah.
So,
That one's for sensitive tummies.
oh, good. Tuna.
You
Tuna's
guys
high in.
realize like the marketing that goes into these very creative
Yeah,
labels.
I mean, sensitive skin and stomach, tuna and oatmeal. What cats grazing on oats in the field?
Right. And how is that helping their stomach?
Yeah, it's not.
Can I, because we missed this question earlier, but Nina, I love this. So, and then I'll scroll back, but she asked if you could comment on her vet's recommendation about what she's feeding or comment on what she's feeding her cats. And she said, my cats are 2 and 1. And the vet said, no dry food to cats. And I did not know that. She said they were desert animals. I just want to know who your veterinarian is because she's done her research. I fed 4 cats in the UK with 24/7 cat chow and water, never wet, but they were outdoor cat, flap country cats, and hunted and ate wild too. The 2 new ones, 10 years later, I'm adopting because they are indoor cats in a nomadic life living in an RV. They are healthy. I now give them 1 pod.
It's probably like wet food. It's probably like this.
Of what?
I'm
Of
guessing
ions.
like this type of thing.
And a
Pod.
midday 1 scoop of dehydrated raw food reconstituted with some water, and last
Oh, it's
1/4.
like
Oh, no, it's too long.
It's too long.
Oh, it's too long.
Nina, but with the information that you have there.
Wow, guys. Hi.
Oh, we're way behind. Sorry. What do you think about that? First of all, I just love that because your veterinarian has really done some research.
I mean,
the
I
species.
can't tell you how many we deal with on a regular basis. So many people that are like, my vet said I have to feed kibble. Like it is what is good for my cat.
That's
and
what
their
we're
teeth.
taught.
Yeah.
We're taught that in vet school. So the biggest thing I would say, if you can, and I don't know if there's like financial reasons, I would see if you can at least do a freeze-dried raw as the predominant and move away from that canned. Freeze-dried raw tends to be, it'll be less processed. It has less ingredients in it too. It tends to be more of like a species appropriate diet. So it's
And
the
you can
closest to raw.
reconstitute it.
Yeah, and you can reconstitute it with water. You can reconstitute it with broth. Like goat's milk would be another option too that you could use, which is really,
If
really
it's
helpful.
legal where you live.
I know.
Because you're
She's
doing
trying to
all
I'm
the
drinking my
talking.
orange
She's
juice.
trying to
Talking.
drink her own. Do you want to see if Woodford Reserve is any better on your throat?
Take
Are
a
you
shot of
sure?
whiskey.
I mean, it's whiskey. We'll let it.
All right, cheers, everyone.
Woo! We're getting Dr. Katie Woodley drunk.
No,
Just kidding.
no.
No.
Okay, so how about we go over some of these
Madison.
foods, because I did find some really interesting.
Where is it?
Right there. Oh, Madison, you're so sweet.
She is such a trooper.
Isn't she
I
a
have to say,
trooper?
like there were a couple of days there because you got back from a trip over Thanksgiving and was not feeling well. And I was like, oh man,
Like,
can
are
tell
you still
you-
coming?
please.
She's like,
Honestly, so just so FYI, like for one, I feel good. It's
What do you
just
feel? I'm sorry, I missed that.
good. So other than this, but to be honest, this is the power of like herbal medicine, 100%. Like I practice what I preach, other than I'm drinking wine right now, but every now and then it's okay.
it's a French one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But herbs, supplements, teas, like when you're under the weather, there's so many different things that you can use to help support your body. My family was knocked down by viruses over this past week. And there's so many things and so many tools that we can use, things like astragalus, echinacea, slippery elm, once again, for the throat. We can use things that are going to help boost the immune system. And these apply to our pets too. I know this does not relate to food, but it's complementary because I use a lot of these types of herbs with my pet patients. And keep that in mind as we move into like the holiday season. There's so many options that you have at like your human health food store that you can use. I've used homeopathy remedies to also help. Obviously, I'm struggling a little bit in the laryngitis area, but to be honest, like I am surprised I still have a voice, to be honest. So
Well, I think it's amazing. Something we learned from, you guys met Dr. Salmia Shridaran, one of our
Yeah.
dearest friends, who is a homeopathic doctor for humans. And one thing that she always says is that like when you're sick, like sure, take all the stuff and things, build your immune system back up, herbal all day long. But you have to let your body,
Herbs.
you have to let your body
Herbs.
go through it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
never going
Yes.
to like fully and completely heal if we're just trying to take a pill, take a shot,
Reduce
take
your
a something to like make it just like disappear. You just have to, even if
Treat
it's your
the symptoms.
child, like, I mean, yes, we want them to not cry and not be sick and sad, but we need to let them get through it. And herbs and natural remedies are a great way to just help your body along to get through it a little bit faster, right?
yeah,
I love it. And she's totally like, she does totally feel well. Like
I can
she's
still do the wobble.
she's doing the Woodley wobble,
No.
right? Like she's feeling fine. She's just not sounding great. So I want to talk
Yeah.
about this food.
Wait a second. So two things, Judith. I see your question here. So I don't know if you're familiar with these things, but she said, Dr. Katie, can you speak to the cat water that's now on the market? Also to the hydrocare being sold by Purina. I don't use these products or plan to, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you have thoughts?
Do you have thoughts?
I'm not
Sometimes I
familiar
have thoughts.
Every
Sometimes
once in a while, I
the
think.
thoughts need to be quieter, but
with
so
you get more sleep for sure.
yeah, true. So the cat water, I'd have to look at the ingredients in the hydrocare. These are being used as like products, I believe. I'd have to look it up again. I haven't seen these for a long time just because I don't use them. They're being used to help hydrate pets, right? So what else can hydrate a pet naturally that you're not going to waste a ton of money on?
Species appropriate food.
I mean,
Well,
okay.
and also goat's milk, broth. You can
Bone
make your
broth.
own bone broth at home, saving that chicken carcass and reusing it. So honestly, like rather than using some of these products, yeah, of course they're going to make it because people ask for that.
Mhm.
But go back to what we can use naturally that we have access to and offer it to your cats and start getting them used to it. So if they do get sick or they need like to fast a little bit or whatever, they're not eating as much, you can still offer a species appropriate way to provide hydration to them. So that's how I look at that.
So I don't know that this is comparable, but we recently did a cat tip on giving your cats milk and should your cats drink milk, and we're talking about the processed milk that we drink and sharing it with our cats. And we had so many comments that were saying, what about cat milk? Only give your cats cat milk. Only give your cats cat milk. Don't give them regular milk. Give them cat milk. And I'm like, what is cat milk?
What is
So I
like
looked it up.
there's like a wet nurse cat farm somewhere where they just get cat milk.
Purina has a cat milk.
Purina makes
And I believe it's Purina. I could be wrong, but it's one of these big conglomerate brands, right? And they have a cat milk. And I looked at the ingredients and it's milk, highly processed, whatever milk with other basically like tons of sugar.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
Right.
You know why they did that? So that they drink it.
And they're like, don't feed your cats milk. Only give them cat milk.
Cat milk.
So once again, marketing.
Which is even worse than the processed milk that
it is. So here's the thing, and this is why it's important to also read the ingredient list. They are not everything or the end all be all, but that's exactly a marketing thing. They know that cat parents want to feed milk, and how can we manipulate that product to make it super tasty? This is like one of the prescription kidney diets. They add sugar to it. Why would you feed sugar to your cat with kidney disease?
Now she's almost yelling.
I am trying.
The yell.
That would have been a yell if I had my voice back. But here's the same thing with cat milk. Like
I'm sorry, are you saying milk or milk?
You are saying milk.
Yes.
Milk.
You say milk or milk?
Milk.
Milk.
It's milk.
You say milk, like milk.
Milk.
Anyway, back to the point.
So cat milk. Cat milk. Milk. Anyways, God, sorry, I have to play along with these two. I came all the way out here. I gotta provide some entertainment. So with cat milk, here's the milk. Yes.
Focus.
Your cow's milk. So cow's milk is inflammatory. That's a thing. This is why a lot of cats do not process lactose very well. They do not have the digestive enzymes. This is why they vomit and have GI upset afterwards. Do not feed them that. Don't offer it. If you want to feed them something, get your goat's milk. You can even make your own like fermented goat's milk using Saccharomyces and adding that in. Am I saying something wrong? No, you're laughing at milk. The milk, whatever you want, milk or milk. Get goat's milk or milk.
Milk or milk.
Milk or milk.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Let's talk about this diet because it's specifically for senior cats. And we see a lot of people that are like my cat is senior, and you go to the store and you're like, what is the best food I can feed? We all want to feed our cats the best food, right? So we go to the store and guys, I spent like a good amount of time. I'm like, oh wow, they have food for every single thing: gut health, urinary health, senior cats. We'll wait for it. Maine Coons. They have. We'll show you that one too. I'm like, I have to buy that. I'm sorry, but I have to buy that.
Do you have a Maine Coon? They have specific dietary needs.
Don't buy it.
Right. So I mean, we're talking about the marketing here, right? But if you are a cat parent and you are going to the store and you are buying your cat, you are looking for the best food. This, Purina is a very well-known brand. You basically not know Purina,
just a little,
right?
A very well-known and very creative.
But this says it's senior essentials. So it's for like if you're feeding your cat, if you have an older cat, which now is like 8 or more, then we want to feed them the best food. But this one is called
7+.
Oh, 7. I'm sorry, it's 7+. So,
7-year-old cat.
Yeah.
Senior.
So if you're let me just read you the ingredients, Dr. Woodley, and I'd like to know
that'll help me.
What you got.
Oh,
you're gonna take a couple.
Your
sips.
eyes work too.
So yes. We always say it's funny because
These two are millennials.
I don't have like very good hearing. Like I feel like I'm losing my hearing, but Adrienne has no eyes. So I mean she does have eyes. She's losing her eyesight. So I'm like, well, you know what? We'll be fine. Like I still have my eyes. You still have your ears. Well, kind of. She's got one of them.
I have both. So.
Right. So we're just keeping Woodley around.
Or
I'm here for
Hey
that.
Ryan, is that okay?
We got to keep Ryan. Earlier, I said we're keeping Ryan.
He's pretty good
Okay.
looking.
So the
He
ingredients for your senior cats. Let's talk about this. Chicken byproduct meal.
You should. Keep going.
Children. Chicken byproduct meal.
That's the first ingredient.
First ingredient.
It's good.
Soy flour.
That's even
That's
better.
very good for senior cats.
Soy
Well,
flour is excellent.
Let's not
Excellent.
be too.
Okay.
Just so you guys know,
You're
we're being
sarcastic.
very sarcastic, right?
Don't
Okay.
buy this.
Chicken byproduct meal, soy flour, corn gluten meal, rice, oatmeal.
A lot of people say oatmeal.
It's two different words. Oatmeal,
Okay, sorry.
whole grain wheat, beef fat, preserved. Okay, we won't go through all of them because this is the majority of the way that the pet food manufacturers are required by AFCO to list the ingredients is in quantity from top to bottom. So chicken byproduct meal, soy flour, corn gluten meal, rice, oatmeal, and whole grain wheat. Let's just say that these are the first 7 ingredients in the senior cat care.
Wait a minute.
Why would I not
Is that the same
feed?
in that?
Oh my
senior
God.
cat?
Did you know that Maine Coon kittens also need senior
Is it the same ingredients?
chicken
Really
bar?
close.
Oh,
Okay, so here's
my.
Really close.
Okay, so here's the
So
thing.
if you have a senior cat or a Maine Coon kitten,
A gentle giant.
you can make your own diet.
So
I
here's
mean,
the thing.
Let,
Okay,
please.
let's rein it back in, everyone.
Okay.
Yes.
So the thing is here's the big problem that we are laughing about. It's not funny,
It's not.
but we have to laugh because unfortunately we cry if we don't. And
Sure.
so when you see these diets, they're so good at marketing. And this is why vets are also brainwashed. We are trained by the big companies in vet school. The vet schools are funded by those big companies. Your vet honestly does want to help your cat. Don't get me wrong, but they're doing the best they can with the knowledge that they have at that time. But as you can see, whether or not you have a Maine Coon or a senior cat or a cat with gut health issues, the product being marketed to you is so similar in ingredients that why would you buy a product that I imagine the Maine Coon one is probably $30, $40.
Oh my God, she spent so much
more,
money. I
probably
can't
than-
even.
So if you're going to buy one and you are on a budget, here's the thing, save your money. If this is what you have to buy, for one, try to get your cat to at least, I don't even care if it's a poor quality wet food. I would rather them be on that than the Purina, to be honest, the Purina cat chow. If we had to feed something, at least a wet food, I don't even care what brand, as long as it's somewhat balanced long-term. But as you can see, you are throwing your money down the drain. You're better off getting a cheaper quality wet food and then using your supplements to fill in the gaps to help support them through life, to be honest. This is just, it's a marketing issue that we have. And it's not helping cats. It's confusing cat parents. It's confusing veterinarians for them also. They just don't know or understand what a lot of those ingredients are and what they mean.
I think some of this has poor quality packaging too, because I smell kibble.
Do you?
Do you
I
really?
I don't think it's this one, but maybe it's
It's probably-
probably.
I want to say though, because for anyone just joining us, I know
I was
that
like, whoa, I smell kibble.
Marilyn said, you guys need to focus. You're having way too much fun without me. But I do want, for anyone just joining us, you guys, this is a really fun and exciting time for all of us to be together, our first time getting to meet in person. But I also want to remind everybody that you might think
Use
this,
your words.
none of us sell cat food, you guys.
No.
This is just our own experience, literally realizing how foundationally important food is. We're not trying to sell another kind of cat food.
No, we're not
saying-
here to.
No.
Did somebody say that? No, we're definitely not here to sell any food. We're here to educate. Maybe it's this.
To realize really
Educate you on the foods that we're, because it's so sad, right? We've all been in the industry for
Of course we
so
want
many
gut health
years
for-
now. And what we see is time after time after time after time, pet parents saying, this is they being skewed by marketing and being tricked into thinking that these specific foods are the best thing for their cats and dogs, and then seeing the results of the disease that comes from feeding these foods because we are unable to, or because we don't know enough,
We just
right?
didn't
Like,
look
because
into
we
it
weren't,
enough.
I looked
But
directly
Marilyn,
into that. Like,
but Marilyn said, "Oh yes, I do have a Maine Coon. So now I need to feed Royal Canin or
Correct.
Canin
No.
or
So here's another
you
thing.
guys are inspirational."
Thank you, Marilyn.
I love you, Marilyn.
So when I was in vet school, so we got a German Shepherd puppy, and that's when Royal Canin released their German Shepherd food. Do you know what I did? I bought it. I used it. So I can understand and relate to that. Obviously, when I learned what was like actually going on with the pet food industry, we ended up cooking for him and creating balanced diets that way. And the dog went from essentially spitting out kibble to like dancing and barking and being excited for his
Got a
food.
dancing dog.
He was amazing.
Did he do the Woodley
Did he?
waffle?
Yeah,
Maybe
did
it
he do
was.
the Woodley
That's where I
waffle?
got it from. So, but anyways, that's the thing. Like, whenever we talk about food, it can be a heated discussion and a lot of people get really upset, right? And here's the thing. We are all doing the best that we can where we're at with the knowledge that we have at the time.
Yeah.
And what's most important is being able to learn, to grow, and to improve what we're doing. So even if you're like hearing this and you're like, oh my God, I fed that food. We've all been there.
Mhm.
Like every single
Yep.
one of us has fed kibble or fed those types of
Really
diets.
good kibble.
Yes.
Right. Well, and here we go.
Example,
Here we
really
go.
good
Right.
kibble.
Because that's what we did. Right. We just upgraded our kibble once we learned, and once you know better, you do better. Right. Like, and with the resources, like you said, with the resources that you have. So not everybody can afford, a super high quality premium raw diet that they have delivered to their door. Not everybody can afford that, or they can't afford the ingredients or have the time to make it themselves at home and do all the research to make sure that it's complete and balanced and all that stuff and things. But this company has done a really, really good job of comparing themselves to the other big brand companies, right? Blue Wilderness, or Blue Buffalo, as it used to be, at least Blue, is doing a really good job making commercials, multi-billion-dollar commercials, multi-million-dollar commercials, to
Come on,
compare
feed them like
these
family,
foods.
Dana said.
Thank you, Dana. Yes,
I love their commercials
because if you
so
love
much.
them
'cause
like
they're
family, you feed
Wasn't
them
it?
like family.
Are they the
So
life source bits?
Well,
Oh,
it
I
says,
think so.
And then they got sued.
Yup.
They got
Right.
sued because it wasn't life source bits. It was like actually like grain
What was the name of
and
the-
oats
Yes.
and like
Mhm.
right pesticide filled.
But
Well,
I
what
hate
it
it
says,
because
what
they-
it says here, the
Mm.
marketing is healthy, holistic.
Healthy
Well,
and
wait,
holistic.
but it's also for cognitive development. Oh, it's kitten, so of course that makes sense.
Yeah. You guys, here's the thing.
believed you for
What I love about this
Like,
beautiful-
it's sarcasm. It's marketing.
What I love about this beautiful community, though, is exactly like Dr. Katie just said.
Mhm.
We all get to learn, share what we learn, and all grow together. But this is the kind of stuff that we would have scraped together pennies for to just try
Yeah.
to do something better for our
Oh,
cats.
this is a
Right.
good one.
And now it's scary
It's
how much effort and money is put into the marketing of these
It's the
foods.
salt roll, alfalfa,
And not the
sweet
ingredients.
potato.
I just
Oh,
always-
this is a good one. I like this one.
Let's talk about it, Dr.
I like
William.
it because it's got a lot of good lessons in it.
Oh, let's
So, for one, I have to say, when when I worked in the vet clinic before I actually like switched to a completely 100% holistic integrative vet business, whenever I would see a dog or a cat come in for diarrhea, I would always ask, well, we should always be asking, what diet are you feeding? But I would always ask, are you feeding blue or are you feeding blue buffalo? Because we saw so much diarrhea and GI upset with these diets. So I always found that really interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, diets can change, formulas can change, but there was definitely a lot of pets on that food. Yes, there's other things that can play a part, with GI upset. It's just something to be aware of. Now, here's the other thing. When I start looking at the ingredient list of this food, so this is a kitten formula. For one, they're doing a great job throwing around words that are unregulated. So healthy, holistic. Holistic is not a regulated word. Anyone can use that. They're also saying no chicken, poultry, byproduct meals, no corn, wheat, or soy, or artificial flavors or preservatives.
which makes you think, wow, this is going to be a better
This is
one.
great. That's what they know pet parents are looking for. The other thing is too, is they're saying for cognitive development. So they're saying it's higher in DHA. So DHA is an omega-3 essential fatty acid alongside your EPA. So this is why we supplement with like fish oils or we feed salmon. And growing puppies and kittens have higher DHA requirements because their brain's developing. So when I look at this ingredient list, I see deboned chicken, chicken meal, first 2 ingredients. Whenever this is a kibble diet, so all those ingredients are going to be listed according to their dry weight. So that deboned chicken hasn't been dehydrated yet. That will drop.
The wet weight.
Sorry, the wet weight. Sorry,
The
yes,
wet
the
weight.
wet weight.
So they take the ingredients, they weigh them,
it, and then that's
and
listed on here. And then what
and then
they do,
dehydrate it.
they cook it at really high heat temperatures and extrude the kibble.
Right.
So anytime you don't see like a meat meal, because the next ingredient is chicken meal, it means that it's going to drop in the concentration that it's actually present in that food. So I just completely disregard that first one, that deboned chicken. So we have chicken meal, and then we have pea protein. So pea protein, this is one of the highest sprayed crops for glyphosate. Glyphosate is Roundup, and it's a pesticide, herbicide that directly impacts the microbiome. There are numerous lawsuits against Monsanto for Roundup due to it leading to things like cancer, autoimmune disease, neurological issues in the human side, just exactly the same to our pets. The problem is that it doesn't cause these issues right away. So when I see this pea protein, is technically probably the second ingredient once we get rid of the deboned chicken. It's really, really high concentration. What is a kitten? It is a growing obligate carnivore. They have a very high concentration of meat. They need protein in their diet. This is a very high carb diet. So I see that. And then we see fish meal. So that's their source of omega-3s. This Manhattan fish meal, once again, is trash fish. It's not a good quality source of meat protein for these cats. And then we see peas again. And then further down, I see natural flavor, whatever the hell that means. And then, sorry, I'm not even, thank God you can still hear me, right? And then going further down, we see pea fiber. What this company is doing is what's called ingredient splitting, where they are taking peas and they are breaking it apart into individual components to make it look like it makes up less of the diet. This is a pea diet. It does not support your cat's brain health or support optimal growth or health in general. But here's the other thing they do, which it's just fantastic because it's such a great teaching lesson. I always look for salt. The salt is a divider. Usually anything after salt is less than 0.1% of the ingredients in the diet. So this is where they are notorious for doing this, is why I hate them. But so I'm just going to say,
wow.
No,
that orange juice is kicking in.
no, I honestly, any of my clients, any of my, like, I know there's a couple people in my groups in this, like in the comments, and they've heard me say this before, not drinking orange juice. Is when you look at salt, this is a way to see what is this company, do they actually care about what the ingredients are in this food? So they know you as the pet parent want to see real fresh food. You want to see blueberries, you want to see cranberries, you want to see the foods that make us feel good, that we know are healthy for ourselves. So I go to salt, and after salt, this is less than 0.1%. It should be synthetic vitamins and minerals, ideally. That's what it should be after salt if they're using that. So what do I see? I see some alfalfa. I see sweet potatoes. I see carrots. I see, oh, there it is. Blueberries, cranberries, barley grass, parsley. Oh, I'm getting excited. Turmeric, dried kelp. So this.
Oh my God, they have kelp in there.
Yeah, it's the iodine. I'm sure they added extra iodine to really help your cats
Iodine.
develop hyperthyroidism later on in life. So I see this.
Did I feel like I'm
Sorry,
it's
back to the iodine or
amazing.
iodine.
It's the kibble.
But I don't think it is.
I don't
It's
smell
what I
it.
smell kibble. I'm just saying.
She's got a kibble smell. But based on this is a good example of what you can do when you're looking at ingredient lists. Does this company actually care? No, they don't. They know what they're doing. They are using marketing to get you to buy this expensive, poor quality diet.
This is one of my favorites.
You're on our platform, so
Look at
we'll
this.
be the one.
I like-
Believe me, it's happening.
I like what this
Okay.
is. This is an adult 1 to 6.
Oh,
So
good.
even though some cats aren't actually fully developed until they're almost 2.5, 3 years old, this is for those cats that are an adult at 1 year old, but only until 6 years old.
But what about
And
the, like,
this
this
is
is
to
like the
support a
most
healthy immune
trusted
system.
brand.
Digestion, lean muscle,
Oh God.
and beautiful fur. If you don't get this one, then there goes the beautiful fur
And the lean muscle.
and the lean muscle.
What say you, Dr.
So keep
Woodley?
in, so wait, here's an oxymoron.
Right.
Wait, so lean.
Patrice,
So,
preach.
so with this, just down here, that lean muscle, beautiful fur. What's ironic about this is that we have this beautiful, gorgeous picture of this cat. This cat is an obligate carnivore. This is a kibble diet. That cat behind me is not on a kibble diet. It has beautiful fur and it has lean muscle and is thriving. And with these types of diets,
She just said that in real life.
Zorro's obsessed with Dr.
Just so you guys
Katie.
know.
Zora's amazing. All of them are beautiful.
Yeah,
But Zora and I have a special relationship.
it's true.
So
We're gonna have to do
tell
a head
Lindsay.
count before she leaves.
I know I
know.
might take him. I need 4 black cats.
She
But-
only has 3.
So I just wanted to say that because this is once again a marketing scheme to get you to buy it because you feel good. You see the picture, you read oh, I want my cat to look like that. And that's how they get you to buy it.
Yep.
So we have to educate ourselves about what's an appropriate diet for our cat that they truly need.
He's also like our one boy that will not eat anything processed.
He's a purist.
He's such a purist. Like never had a cat like that before. You have to like kind of keep the kibble or if you're trying to like buy for props or something, you have to keep him away. Like you don't want any of this. He's only here for Katie.
Oh, no, that's him. I thought it was another one.
You're like, no,
Look at her as a
There's-
dog.
there are
No, he
two
just
of them.
moves fast.
He's like, what is
He's like a
Um,
cat.
What is this junk? Yeah, he
He's like,
moves
what is
fast
that?
because he's not on this.
Correct.
That's
We'll
right.
get to this is hairball control, but let's talk about Science Diet because Science Diet is one of the most trusted brands
Well, and
ever.
Trina
we
just shared
talked
that
about all
they
the
came
things.
out with a new ingredient, so it's not as bad as it used to be.
Wait, Trina.
Trina, please tell us what this elusive new ingredient
You
is.
agreed. I would love to know, Trina.
Trina,
I'm
I-
always interested in what they're doing
Yeah,
because it's always interesting.
but this supports healthy immune system, digestion, lean muscle, and beautiful fur, right? And the ingredients are chicken, whole grain
Oh.
wheat, corn gluten meal,
Oh.
chicken fat, dried beet,
This is perfect.
like dried beet pulp, soybean oil, cracked pearled barley, soybean meal. So we can stop there.
Wait a minute.
This
Glasses
this is one of the most trusted brands, right?
Yeah.
Veterinary recommended, many times only veterinarian
Oh my God.
sold. You have to
Beautiful.
pay real high price for a good food like this. With wheat, corn gluten meal,
You guys,
I mean, beet pulp,
This
that's
kills me.
super healthy.
like
isn't
on
it?
the back, like if you are looking to actually flip the bag over before you buy it to get some more information, you will learn that it is U.S. veterinarians' #1 recommended food. Probably not wrong.
Right.
And they are proud to have helped 11 million shelter pets.
So why
wanna
wouldn't
know
you want
more-
to support
Like,
that?
why wouldn't you want to support that? But
Yeah.
like, sure, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, so I would hope that you're giving back a little bit. I mean, I think that bothers me. I don't know why that bothers me so much that you're
Well-
using like heartstrings to
Right.
buy
Well,
bullshit.
everybody
So
does.
is
It's fine.
I mean,
It's
it's
fine.
marketing.
Yes.
So there's always going to be marketing with any company. A good company knows how to market.
Mhm.
So you have to keep that in mind. I mean,
Sure.
so
I'm gonna calm down. I'm fine.
I think it's
It's fine.
good
It's
that
fine.
at least they've given some money to help shelter pets.
I do
There's-
too.
That is
That's a
good.
good thing.
Yes. I mean,
I'm gonna rabbit hole this statement, you guys. 11 million shelter pets.
Yeah, go down it.
I'm going to go down that.
What about
rabbit
the
hole.
U.S. veterinarian, like #1 U.S. veterinarian?
Well, I don't know.
Okay,
recommended?
so the reason
Why?
why these two companies, Royal Canin and Hills, are #1 veterinary recommended is because they're funding vet schools. So when I was in vet school, I was still probably am. I was pretty poor.
You're still in vet school?
No, poor.
Oh.
So-
I'm like, wait a second.
You
you're
could
still-
use some funding.
When
right
I was
now.
in vet
Like-
school, I still
like
probably
12
am.
years ago. Did you guys know I'm not actually real? No, just kidding. I am. Don't worry, I'm licensed. You can look up my license. Don't
It's
worry.
true.
It's true.
Yeah, we've got the COA on this
Don't
one.
worry.
She's
However,
legit shit.
analysis.
Yeah, don't worry. However, these companies are funding vet school. And so when I was in vet school as a poor student on like student loans and trying to survive,
You still paying your student loans?
maybe. But the thing is that they give you free food or discounted food. What do? Of course, 100%. Oh my goodness. So we want to, here's the thing, it's a brainwashing, right? You use our food, your pets don't die immediately from it. You think it's good, your pet likes it and eats it. And what do? You go out and practice. And this is what you're selling. So of course you support it and back it up. This is what we're taught. We're not really taught nutrition in vet school. That's the problem. My nutrition education came from other certifications long after vet school. Once I realized these ingredients do not optimize health.
Well, and here's another
You
thing.
survive, not thrive.
Right. Well, and another thing, and this is why it makes it so hard, right? So you have like, when you read the ingredients in Blue Wilderness,
It looks great.
actually, yeah, it actually doesn't sound too bad, right?
No.
And we were like, read the ingredients, and the companies that like troll us, like these companies that come in and troll our videos and stuff, they tell us or they tell our followers, reading the ingredients is not important. Why would you read
Why
the
would you read the
ingredients?
ingredients?
It is not as important
Isn't that
as the overall.
obnoxious?
And I'm like, first
Okay.
of all, common sense says that doesn't make any sense. However, they are somewhat right in many ways that you can have a great ingredient list and still, I fall in love. He's so precious. But the sourcing can be so horrible that we're still not doing our cats any justice by feeding these specific.
Here's the thing, and I don't want to scare people because at the end of the day, we have to feed our cats something.
Yeah.
And
A
so
fed cat is always better
And
than
we
a
have
starved
to
cat.
have our veterinarians as our teammates and caring for our.
Yes.
So this is not to go in and like fight with the vets.
No.
This is something where ingredient lists can help guide. They are not 100% everything. They don't tell us about the quality, the sourcing. I did a recent interview with the founder of Evermore, they're amazing about the transparency of their food, and they pick proteins or they pick animal, they source from farms that are they're concerned about the welfare of the animals. So that is great. So supporting companies like that is really important. So once again, it comes back down to continuing to learn more, follow people that resonate with you, and also too are doing the education to learn more about what's actually going on in the food. Because at the end of the day, they have to put together a lot of these ingredients, like your dried beet pulp is going to be your prebiotic fiber. So your cat doesn't have diarrhea when you feed it. So it's acting as a fiber source to help the stool quality. So these ingredients have a reason why they're in there. There's a lot of research that does go into it with these companies, but just because there's a lot of research going in doesn't mean that diet is 100% the best for your pet. They make zero money off of you creating a homemade diet. That's the thing. They don't want your pet to be healthy.
Well, and I want to say, I know this is something that you've said, and we've heard Dr. Karen Becker, and a lot of people are saying why Jay did this, just to address this question. Jay did a Q&A answering the question of, my vet recommends this prescription diet. Why do you disagree with my veterinarian? And Jay flipped it and said, let me ask you a question. Why is it that veterinarians are the only licensed medical professionals that recommend a highly processed diet for the lifetime of their clients? And that got a lot of people piss.
I love people piss.
A lot of people piss.
But
But I do want to address this because
It's true.
there are some people
True
that are like,
facts.
oh, veterinarians make money off of this stuff. And I think to Dr. Katie's point earlier is when you have Jessica Fisher, I love you so much. It is the best thing ever. When you have these multi-million-dollar pet food companies funding vet schools, and then, as I'm seeing in the comments, and you're exactly right, buying up even formerly privately owned practices, veterinary practices, and then instilling the protocols that go along with Banfield clinics and Mars and whatever. That does really kind of change the quality of care, but to the point is we can't think when he's on our lap.
it's real hard.
But to the point of, I don't want there to be vet hate out there. You guys need to be very clear about this. This is our part of the job of being cat guardians and parents. This is our part. Everything that Dr. Katie is saying, like we have to educate ourselves. That's not their job. Their job is to medically take care of our cats.
Yes.
They are there for us when we need dental checks and blood work done and all that stuff. And they are our teammates. It is not because they're making some lucrative amount of money selling you a bag of Hill Science Lab.
No.
Like, get your shit
That's
straight.
not how they're paying their school bills.
That they're still
student
paying
loans. No.
because they care about our pets. This is our part of that equation to really educate ourselves. And I love that we actually have a veterinarian that is willing to generously share time with us, though, to really kind of give us the information that helps us better advocate for our cats.
Yep. Yeah. I love that you just said that because it really is. It's on us. Like this is
That's
why we are all here. This is why we talk about everything that we talk about is that we have to know enough. We can't just rely on another human that may or may not know anything, but wants to. They want to be able to help you with your cat's diet. They want to be able to help you with your cat's behavioral issues. They want to be able to help you with your cats, but that's not their training. That's why we as pet parents, as cat parents, have to be educated. We have to know better so we can do better and let our cats live the longest, healthiest, and happiest lives possible. Look at here.
I can't.
God,
Laura Lee, I
can't
love that
see
question.
it.
Here's the question that we can all ask ourselves. I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I know
Of
he's
course,
like,
that's what he does.
But Laura Lee's question, I think
He
this is a great question for all of us. What can we do? Where to go? What can we do to help these companies and go back up?
What can we do to help these companies and help our
Okay.
vets receive better education?
Okay.
To stop these companies and help our
Okay. So knowledge is power. So every single person here, like you are part of the movement. So
Plant
I
a seed.
thank you so much for being here and wanting to learn more so you can do better. What needs to happen is having more of the research and bringing that into your vet and having an open conversation about it. A great resource that is free for every single person here is just going to the Forever Dog book website by Dr. Karen Becker and Rodney Habib and going to their bonuses. And there's actually an entire section that is dedicated to the research behind pet food industry, how pet foods are made, digestion, absorption, different diets. As we're getting more and more studies, are raw foods safe? All you need to do is print that out and bring it with you and say, I've been reading about this. I'm concerned about the quality of the pet food ingredients that are being used. I'm learning about these types of diets. I've seen this research that's being posted. I would just love to know your thoughts about this. And what that does, even if your vet says, like, this is crazy, I don't believe it, it planted a seed, just like I think, Jay, you just said.
Yep.
Because that's how I started. That's how every single integrative holistic veterinarian starts. Integrative holistic human doctor usually starts that way. Something changes in your life, or you're sick and tired of seeing sick pets over and over again and telling them there's nothing more you can do. And you start questioning what you're doing, and it sends you down this path. So if you can provide the resources to them, rather than saying, I found this on Google, I found these resources from integrative veterinarians that are doing the research, that are using these types of diets in their patients, and they're seeing results from it. What are your thoughts? And it just opens up a conversation.
Where's
And-
my mic?
No, I really do think, though, it's all about the invitation. You guys, when Jay and I really started going down this path of learning and giving our cats the best life that we possibly could, I realized very quickly I don't like having those awkward conversations with veterinarians,
Yes.
just like I did a month ago about, I don't want to do the hydrolyzed protein,
Kibble.
whatever. I don't, awkward conversations, right? Like it's not hard for,
You said, don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
I'm
not
not
the
going
not
to.
hard.
Don't do it, don't do it.
it's not hard for
Do you think
Jay.
I would?
But the bottom line is exactly what Dr. Katie said. This is about once we know better, we can do better. And planting seeds and it's not about telling somebody, oh, I don't agree with that. It's about, hey, here's an invitation to something that I just learned.
Right.
And that's what planting a seed is. And it's about being compassionate because our veterinarians are overworked, way underpaid, still paying off their vet school bills, loans, and
for their facility and all the stuff that they
Yeah.
have in their facilities, unless you're like owned by Mars Pet Care and then it's paid for you. But here's the but here's the thing too. Like this is why, like what Adrian just said, that this part of our cat's health is on us. If your cat breaks a leg, there's not an herb that you're gonna be like, oh, let's just give him some slippery elm. That's going to fix his leg. You know, like we need our doctors, right? We need our veterinarians for specific things when it comes to, and yes, I love, and I actually believe that in my lifetime, we are going to see that bridge gapping, or that the bridge gap. We're going to see the gap bridge.
Build the bridge.
We're going to see that build being
mind the gap.
The bridge. We're going to see the bridge.
I'm going to use my words. We are going to
She
use
doesn't
this.
have
Yes,
laryngitis.
laryngitis said.
Laryngitis.
We're going to see the
Laryngitis.
bridge being built between like holistic, like just natural and conventional, right? Pet care. And I think we are already seeing that in small amounts, and usually more with like the younger generation of veterinarians that are coming into the field and just like learning more. I love social media for the fact that it opens up the world for us to like even plant seeds, right?
We're all
I
on
think
the
we're
same team.
definitely gonna,
Yeah, we
we're
all
definitely
want
gonna see
better
that. But in the
health.
meantime, if you don't have access to a veterinarian that is even remotely open, even if you're trying to plant seeds, even remotely open to the idea of your cat eating a better diet or being or eating a better diet, then it's on us to learn as much as we can learn so that we can make those decisions. They are our children, right? Not your veterinarian's children. They are our children.
Not biological,
So
but they are family members.
I don't know. Sometimes I have dreams
birth
about
to
birthing them babies from birth. But yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this amazing Wine with Woodley in real life live. She's telling me to scroll, so I'm going to
Oh,
scroll.
wow. We're way behind on. I love you guys so much.
I'm sorry that there's no way that we could have gotten to all of the comments, but guys, we love you so much. We are so grateful that you guys all came for over an hour to join us right here in the Two Crazy Cat Ladies studio with none other than the legendary Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor, right here in real life. This is such an exciting blessing for us, and we're going to go make some food on
you guys,
the grill.
hold on. I think we've got a
Where is
special
Ryan?
treat.
Is Ryan coming?
So, as many of you guys know,
Ryan!
Katie has a very handsome husband from New Zealand.
We said he has to make a cameo because
And
I don't
think there's like
think
a great little
like-
spot, like right
here,
like,
Ryan.
lean
right here,
in.
right here.
Hello. Oh
Hello.
my God, he's here. Right
Hello.
now. So,
Hey there.
Hey there,
Waking up.
Facebook.
He's taking
He
a
was,
nap.
he was taking a nap back
We-
there. We just woke him up.
we put him to work packing orders and, taking care of the cats while we were doing the live. You're very helpful. By the way.
Yeah. Great. You guys sound great. You have a lot of wealthy information. So, yeah.
Oh
Can
my
you
God.
hear his
Can you,
accent?
can you understand me more than you can understand me? That's the question. Can you understand anything?
Can anybody
like,
understand anything that is being said
Peter
right now?
Piper picked a pipe of pickled peppers.
No.
No.
No, is that not
No,
a,
I
you guys know
can't.
that tongue twister?
What about 1-1 was a racehorse, 2-2 was 1-2, 1-1 one race, and 2-2 1-1-2.
How about this? How about Betty bought her Betty bought her
Yeah,
bought
bought
some
some
butter,
butter.
but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought some better butter, better than the bitter butter, and she put it in her batter and it made her batter
Wow.
better.
Can you do that one?
Can't top
No.
that.
Laryngitis
You
can't
do
top
that.
it. All right, guys.
Laryngitis is out. So,
And so is New Zealand.
Dr.
right here.
Laryngitis is out.
And Dr. Laryngitis, we're out. Guys, we love you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you
Thank you.
guys next week. We have so many big things coming
Some
up.
good stuff.
Don't miss it. Follow first, like do your stuff and things to make sure that you are on point because you don't want to miss the good information that we have, exciting information that we have coming out this week. We love you so much. Mwah.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Happy Saturday.
Bye-bye.
Happy
guys.
Saturday.